It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. There was a major update from the Pentagon this morning, and we were rolling on it. We're going to have the highlights for you in just a moment, but the battle is entering decisive days, was what Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, had to say when it comes to the war in Iran today. And you'll hear not just some of what he said in this press briefing just a little while ago, earlier this morning from the Pentagon. We're also going to have an expert on in international affairs with a look at where things stand right now and where they might go next. So that is coming up for you on Fox 10 Talks. Also today, the guitar legend Steve Vai is joining us live. We've been working on this interview now for a couple of weeks. He has been out there making just incredible guitar music for really a generation, a couple of generations. He's been at it for so long. Really looking forward to that. And then you are going to see a woman. I don't know if I've ever quite seen anything like this before. A police officer tries to do a favor for a lady in handcuffs in the back of his police car by rolling down the window. Not all the way, like halfway. Somehow she is able to wiggle out of the police car, and somebody across the street happened to be rolling on their phone at the time. The video is just unbelievable. That's coming up this hour. And then what about this 10-pound chocolate bunny that Costco is selling for more than $100? Well, that is something we're going to be talking about this morning on Fox 10 Talks. One more thing. Here's our poll question. Would love to know what you think. Here's the QR code as well. What do you think is more likely to happen as we enter the second month now of the war with Iran? 32% say boots on the ground. U.S. troops are going to move into action. 23% think it could drag on for months with no resolution. And 45% of you right now are saying I most likely see some sort of a negotiated end to the war and fairly soon. So this is Fox 10 Talks. If it's for your first time hanging out with us on Fox 10 TV or on YouTube, here's the great way to do it. Watch us on Fox 10. Hop onto YouTube on your phone and join the friendliest chat online. I'm Ron Hoon. Syleste is going to be here in just the next couple of minutes as we go through the big stories of the morning in a little bit more of a casual, kind of a conversational approach. But let's get to the big headline of the morning, which is here come what could very well be the most decisive days of this war with Iran. That was one of the things that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, had to say at this news conference. And here's a little bit more about what he had to say.
On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the terms. The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note, the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. So on the Strait of Hormuz, there are many more vessels flowing through today than there were, as the president has arranged. The president's been clear to Iran, open it for business, or we have options, and we certainly do. And when you look at what the chairman laid out with the Navy industrial base, with coastal cruise missiles, with UAVs, with counter-mine capabilities, we've been focused from the beginning on attritting and defeating those capabilities and limiting their options. There's lots we're doing as well, some of which is known, some of which is not known, to set the conditions. And I think the president was clear this morning in his truth that there are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy. that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most. So the world ought to pay attention and be prepared to stand up. President Trump's been willing to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the free world to address this threat of Iran. It's not just our problem set going forward, even though we have done the lion's share of preparation to ensure that that strait will be open, which is an outcome the president's been very clear on. As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air publicly what all of that is. But where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it, or we're confronting it head on.
All right, so we are going to keep an eye on that. We're also going to be talking in a few minutes' time now to an international expert from George Washington University with his take on how it's going so far and sort of the broader implications. The U.S. is, I think, saying both to our European partners, why aren't you joining? You need this oil more than we do in the United States. They're also saying to the Gulf partners, these other nations that are under everyday 24/7 direct threat from missiles and drones out of Iran, you need to be doing more in terms of helping to pay for the cost. You know, the average they're now saying is, and Syleste joins us well, by the way. Syleste, they're saying the cost of the war is currently running at about $1 billion a day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you step in, you say to your Gulf partners, you're the ones that are really under the direct threat.
Well, and I think it was interesting, part of what he said, this morning in that, I'm not entirely sure how long that news conference was, but it was about 3 to 4 hours ago. Yeah. But what he shared was they're hoping to be unpredictable. That they don't, you shouldn't let your enemy know what you're doing, when you're doing it, whether or not you're going to withdraw or initiate boots on the ground. And so he was a little hesitant to share too much information, which I think is probably how it should work.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. There's plenty of speculation as we ramp up from the 40,000 troops that would normally be there up to 50,000. Yeah. Now is about the number, but you certainly don't want to give away your intentions, but we will see in the coming days, and that's why we have the poll question up the way we do. Now, of course, everybody's watching because we want to know what kind of an impact is it going to have on gas prices. You know, we're right up against it. Syleste, I have to admit, between Monday and Tuesday is when we see a lot of these gas stations change their prices. And I was off yesterday, so when I pulled off the 10 right there at 7th Avenue near our studio, there's a Circle K, and I cringed to look because I thought it was going to be over $5. They're still holding steady at $4.99, but you know it's coming.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, that's a regular unleaded. So if you got one of those fancy cars, which I don't, but if you got one of those fancy cars that demands that higher, octane. Oh, yeah. What is it, 91 or 89? Yeah, I don't know. Then you're going to pay, you are over the $5 mark.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine here at work who said, yeah, that's the kind of gas I got to buy. And I think he said he's paying about $5.79.
Wow.
For the premium fuel. And I didn't even know that you were a premium fuel kind of guy.
Yeah, maybe he's a high dollar kind of fancy guy. I don't know.
Maybe so.
And diesel is so expensive. I mentioned this quickly, Ron, and welcome back. I know you were off yesterday.
Thank you.
We missed you. But yeah, we were driving through San Diego over the weekend, and diesel was at $7.50 a gallon. Okay. And so if you've got a big truck, which we got a lot of them in Arizona.
Yeah, we do.
You're paying more than that, maybe that $4.99 mark.
Okay, so we are now nationally at $4.01 a gallon, which wouldn't you love to pay $4.01 a gallon?
Yeah, sounds like a dream.
When I was filling up the rental car, I went up to see my daughter in Salt Lake City. Now, they're one state away, and they're almost $1 a gallon less. It's so messed up. I mean, I know we get our gas refined out of the refineries in California, but I think I paid $4.19, and I saw some gas stations as low as $4.09.
You know what Gila Bend was at? Gila Bend is only, if you're in Gila Bend, it's like, an hour south of the valley? Yeah. You know what they were at? $3.99.
Syleste.
$3.99 a gallon.
It's almost worth it to hop in your car and drive down to Gila Bend, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, grab lunch at the Italian food restaurant.
Yeah, all right, let's do this. Let's bring up what is going on right now. You guys tell me where, it's ENG23. What is going on with this stock market? Wow. I just had a friend here at work say, what's happening? And I said, well, I think this is kind of a snapback. because it was so oversold. I mean, it can't go down for almost a month straight without buyers coming in and seeing maybe some deals. Although I heard an interview with Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. He said, this is nothing. The fact that the market is down 10%, he said, in my lifetime, I've seen it go down 50% 3 times. I don't think anybody's rooting for that in their 401ks. But price of oil is kind of holding steady, but there are maybe some renewed hopes. Apparently, there's a report out there that the president had been telling some aides that he was even willing to maybe negotiate an end to the war without the Strait of Hormuz reopening. I think partly because he's frustrated that the nations from Asia to Europe to the UK that rely on the Gulf oil are doing nothing to try to help out.
Well, yeah, and let me give you an idea, Ron. I looked this up earlier this morning, and it had to do with the Dow. I said, where does the market sit right now?
Yeah.
And it gave me what was interesting, like a 52-week low and a 52-week high.
Oh, good. So
and
let's
it was
do
interesting.
some research before coming onto the stream.
The 52-week high was at 50,000. We just had that not that long ago.
Right.
Remember we were celebrating in the newsroom?
I do remember that, yes.
And then the 52-week low was somewhere around 36.
Okay.
So if you can imagine, within the course of 1 year, we are now at 46.
Yes.
A year ago, we were at 36.
There you fresh perspective, Syleste.
It gives you an idea.
No, it's really good.
Like glass half full. Let's see, let's see if we can kind of.
I don't know about you, but I'm more the kind of guy who's like, but it was just at 50,000 the other day.
I am too.
Syleste is a little more the glass half full kind of a person.
Most days. Not always. But...
anyway, all right, let's do this. We have our mystery cam ready to go. We have this interview. We have what folks were saying at the home opener of the D-backs. That might have been the biggest opening day in all of Major League Baseball yesterday, Syleste. Over 48,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
There were dads taking their sons. There were moms and grandmas and grandpa. The whole thing was just fantastic. But let's do this. Look at this, would you? On a kind of a rainy day, almost looks like a painting. There's our mystery cam. You guys give us your guesses. And so here we are with lots of good guesses, Celeste.
Yeah, we've got a Portland for Burger Boy, Kansas from Sherry Nevada Pup, another Oregon from Louis Gonzalez. I think because it looks kind of rainy, right, in those beautiful hills.
It does kind of.
Is this like a downtown Portland shot?
Well, that's what a lot of people are guessing
Yeah, I
this
think
morning.
so. Virginia from B. Miguel.
Yeah.
And by the way, Lisa Dinsmore, I believe it's her birthday today.
Okay.
So Frankie D is giving her a big shout out. Happy birthday to
Lisa.
you. Yeah, happy
Everybody,
birthday.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know. Frankie D with the Iowa. I saw Virginia from Brandon. I don't think it is. I don't think it is Oregon.
You don't think it's Oregon?
Yeah. What are you going to go with, though?
I'm going to go with Oregon.
Join the crowd? Okay, I'm going to go with Brandon and Virginia. Was that Brandon? Yeah, Brandon said Virginia.
Okay.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Here
It's the Celeste Cam. Kind of, sort of the Celeste Cam.
This is the mystery cam.
Okay.
Saratoga Springs, New York.
Oh, let's go back and look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is a cool town. So
it looks very like East Coast-ish with a red brick.
Now, I do remember driving around that town one time. Of course, it's famous for its horse races.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the song by Carly Simon, You're So Vain? Well, you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. And then your horse went on the race at Saratoga, and your horse naturally won.
Wow.
So I always wanted to see that racetrack.
I actually love that song. It's like one of the best songs in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh,
is
it
that
really?
movie, Ron? With, yeah, it's so good.
It was. I want to say, I'm going to have to go back and research it, but I want to say it was #1 for like 9 weeks in a row on the charts back in the 70s when it came out from Carly Simon.
So
all right,
I want to give a quick shout out, Ron, if I may.
Yes, please do.
To give to many of you in the chat, because we love the fact that this community is here and growing. And if you're watching on television, you can go to YouTube, go to the live button, click on our video here, and then you can watch us and chat in the chat box as well. So good morning to you, Brandy the Bookworm, Frankie D, Burger Boy, William K2316, Jared of Sonora, Sherry Nevada Pop. We've got a lot of OG viewers on here, but we've got some new ones popping up. Melons 1740 with the Saguaro emoji. Thank you for that.
Nice.
I do want to share, we're speaking about gas prices, Ron.
Yes, right.
Brandy the Bookworm says, seeing these prices, I'm actually glad I don't have a working vehicle right now. Sheesh. And then she says, Brandy the Bookworm continued a little bit farther down in the chat, and she said, my boyfriend has a hybrid car, and using electric, he gets about 140 miles on a charge.
That's
Way
what I'm talking
to go,
about.
boyfriend.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's super glad to have that option right now, to say the least. And I think the Prius just came out with a new body type.
Oh, is that right?
After
all this time?
And it looks really good. But do you remember it was during the Great Recession, and I believe it was like 2009 or something like that.
Okay.
Everybody was going out for Prius, and they were running like on 200, 300 miles, 300,000 miles, because, they're worth it.
I know. These gas prices.
Yeah, the hybrids are worth it.
So crazy. All right, we have a guest we've been looking forward to all day. It's Alexander Downs. He's an international affairs expert, and he's with the Institute for Security and Conflict Studies at GWU, George Washington University. So, Professor Downs, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, by the way, what are you guys paying for gas there in the D.C. area?
$4.09.
409.
409. It's like almost $1 cheaper than Phoenix.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. But you must be lonely because everybody went on Easter recess. Don't you wish they would have stayed behind and did their job?
Yeah, sure. Well, we won't glance too far at Capitol Hill. We're glad we got you right there in your office. But here we are now, a month in. And what is your overall take about the way things, I know you're not a military strategist or anything like that, but you are more of an expert on international affairs. What's your take on the geopolitical, kind of the broad view of where things stand right now regarding everything that's been happening in the Middle East?
Well, I would not say that they're going very well. The administration, I think, believes that they could the Iranian regime relatively quickly and bring it to the bargaining table or disarm it. That is clearly not a lot of targets in Iran, but seem to be unable to translate that into political outcomes. So the war continues. Iran is able to continue send drones into the region. We've managed to alienate our allies by, asking them to step convoy tank, which they are not eager to do.
We're having a little bit of a problem with your with your Wi-Fi or with the Zoom, so just kind of hang with us here as we. Okay. We're going to call you, and that way we think we'll be able to stand by. We're going to get you on the phone in about 15 seconds or so, and that way we'll be able to kind of continue the interview.
Dave. Look at Big D stepping in.
Yeah. What about the Gulf states? Are they, there are these reports that MBS there in Saudi Arabia is pushing the administration, pushing the president to keep the war effort going in Iran. Is that, A, do you think that's likely? And B, how does the interplay between Saudi Arabia and Iran shake out to you?
Well, I'm sure that the Saudis would love if the United States and Israel continued the war, which would further weaken their principal adversary in the Gulf, which is Iran. However, I don't think President Trump is going to put too much emphasis on what the Saudis think, although he'll obviously listen to them. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Well, let me jump in and ask you, who does he listen to? Who are the most important voices in his ear right now, do you think?
It's not clear. I mean, Donald Trump listens to Donald Trump, and he, I think, has gotten some bad advice, and I don't think he knows a whole lot about military affairs or about how much bombing can achieve. Strategic bombing for regime change has never been very effective, and strategic bombing campaigns in general have had a hard time obtaining any concessions from adversaries.
Professor Down, you have some extensive research you've conducted here on the historical failures of some strikes and externally imposed leadership transitions. Can you talk about, right now we're kind of waiting on the transition to take place there in Iran, and what type of effect, both positive or negative, or neither potentially, does that have on some of these negotiations that the U.S. is currently having with Israel and Iran?
Well, it depends who you ask. The president says there are negotiations. The Iranian says there are not. And I tend to think the latter are correct. Right now, we're killing leaders, and that makes it hard to find somebody to talk to. It's clear that the Iranians have not changed their views on having a nuclear program, having ballistic missiles, and so forth, all of the demands that the United States and Israel have made. And so right now, it doesn't seem like it matters who the interlocutors are on the Iranian side. They're not prepared to accede to the American demands, which are, very stringent demands: zero enrichment, zero ballistic missiles, zero support for proxies.
All right. So if you were to look out a month from now, 2 months from now, which that's our poll question, we got hundreds of people voting on it, what the way they think it's headed next, what would your informed opinion be?
My opinion is that the president would like an off-ramp. The reason is gas prices have gone up $1 a gallon or more in the United States. The Persian Gulf Straits of Hormuz are completely jammed up. Oil is not coming out into the global market. The United States has had to reduce sanctions on Russia and also on Iran to be able to export its oil into the market to bring those prices down, which is a bit of a shocking development. development. So in my view, the president is looking for a way to declare victory. Right? Yesterday he said, oh, well, we have had regime change in Iran, so, our objective has been achieved there. I don't think he wants this to continue. The longer it goes on, the more dicey it gets for his party in the midterms. So I think a month from now, this may be done.
Wow. Okay, that's Alexander Downs with George Washington University. Professor Downs, thanks for your time.
Thanks, and sorry for the difficulties on the phone there.
No problem. Glad
Have a
you
great
got
day.
good cell service. At least it worked out. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Let's go to the poll question, everybody. And this will be a chance for you to really kind of weigh in. We just heard from him. He's written a number of books on international affairs. And, we're all watching. Everybody wants to know, but this is a chance for you to weigh in. And here's what it looks like. Boots on the ground, 30% saying, I do believe U.S. troops will move into action. 20% say, I'm afraid it could drag on for many more months with no resolution. 50% do say some kind of a negotiated end to the war, and probably pretty soon. Celeste.
All right, let's take a look at our numbers here on YouTube. I just refreshed.
Yeah.
This is only 58 minutes ago. So 1.5 thousand votes.
Wow.
So let me give you, thank you, Dave. Big Dave. He's doing the refresh.
Look at that.
So right now, 37% say boots on the ground, U.S. troops will move into action. 48% say it could drag on for many more months with no resolution. And then 15% say a negotiated end to the war is coming very soon.
Interesting how different those two polls are.
Yeah.
We do see that a lot.
We do.
Should we go to the man himself?
The
Celeste?
man. Big D.
Well, thanks for those kind words. We've got a lot of good
Oh,
comments. You can
sure.
always comment
The
on
man.
YouTube as well as on fox10phoenix.com/poll. Joseph Denny in Mesa says, we all know that the U.S. is getting ready to invade. Why else would they position forces in the Middle East? As a warning, doubtful. Trump wants the oil. He has made that perfectly clear. Thin Man Texas 80 says, whatever happens, this war is completely unnecessary. David Smith 385 says months. This could last years. And finally, Bill Moretz 8718 says the smart thing is to arm the Iranian people and let them take out the rest of the regime. They are the only ones that have a right to determine what their next government will be. People who fight for their freedom will keep it for generations. Really interesting comments. We love hearing from you guys. Keep it up.
Thanks, Dave. All right, we'll be right back after a quick break.
By the way, we do have a viewer voicemail line, 10:30. Big D and I were, kibitzing about this a little while ago, Celeste.
Yes.
Talking about Easter's coming up, by the way.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah, and what is a kibitz?
Kibitz is a very minute conversation that kind of meanders.
Oh, and that sounds like a normal conversation for me as a woman.
Yeah, Dave, is there? Yeah, there you go. Would that be a good description? What I just said?
That's a great one. We kibitz all the time.
We do kibitz.
Kibitz. It sounds like we need some challah bread with the kibitz.
Well, and what I said, or what Dave was like, how about, let's talk about Easter coming up. We got this story about this $140 chocolate bunny, which I guess they're selling at Costco. Do you have any kind of Easter traditions? Do you go buy chocolate bunnies for the kids? Do you do the Easter baskets?
Yeah.
Do you have a big meal over?
Maybe you do baskets for your teenagers.
What about our poll question on the TV side?
Yes.
Are you an adult and you want an Easter basket? If you're the adult in the room, who buys you an Easter basket?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, who are you going to kibitz about the basket?
Okay,
I mean, it's a Yiddish-derived verb meaning to offer unwanted advice or commentary.
Unwanted advice?
Particularly
Dave,
as a spectator at a card game.
Okay, I got to come up with a new word because it's not unwanted. Believe me, when Big D has an idea. All right, 602-262-0428. Go ahead, give us your input. Do you have any kind of traditions? Maybe we can all learn a little something.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Do you have a new way that you prepare your ham? Or a new fancy way that you top your develed eggs?
Yeah, maybe you go to a brunch or something like that.
$high brunch,
right?
Ron.
Rather than slaving in the kitchen, for hours over a hot stove, why not go do it somewhere else?
Yeah, no kidding.
It doesn't have to be fancy.
No, it could just be.
We have golden buffets here.
We do. Too bad we don't. And if you want to go to Sizzler, you got to go up to Flag.
Sizzler.
So everybody going to Sizzler. By the way, when Ron takes this two-shot of us, I just want you to know that when he takes off the sport coat.
That means we're getting serious.
That means we're halfway through the show. We're getting
That's
serious.
That's your phone. Celeste, I almost invaded your personal space by grabbing your phone. Here's my phone. Let me just look real quick because... It was William who said, look, Ron, the jacket's great and all, but if you are going to interview a rock legend, which is exactly what Steve Vai is, that's coming up in 15 minutes, you can't wear a sport coat when a rock and roll legend's in the house. I'll just say... He's live on Zoom.
So
we would have a line of fans out the studio if he was coming in person.
Well, maybe he can make a quick pit stop. He's actually the reason we're chatting with him. He's going to make a big pit stop in Mesa, Arizona next week.
Right.
So are you going to roll up the sleeves and let loose the tie? What happens next?
Oh, by the time he comes to Mesa, I could be in a tank top by then, Celeste. Who knows?
Ron, this is a family show.
Let's do this. Let's go to the ballpark last night.
It's opening day. It's like a national holiday, or should be.
No better place than opening day.
It's a lot of fun, even win or loss. Our family has a good time.
Let's just spend time with my son. That's what it's all about. It's about making memories.
She's really big on the movie league of her own. So every single year we fire up the outfits. We have a good time,
We all get to spend time together with my uncle and stuff, and we just have a fun time.
It's a long season. Anything can happen.
Oh, this is so great.
Oh, I love A League of Their Own. If you have not seen it, is one of the best movies. It's so good. It's about the women in World War II, Ron.
Yes, I know, right? And so anyway, opening day, it was a sellout. So let's look at that crowd. Packed to the rafters. Wow. A lot of excitement about the D-backs this year. They did beat the Detroit Tigers. And so congrats to them. Final score is 9-6. And at 48,350 fans, as far as I can see so far, that's the biggest crowd anywhere in Major League Baseball this year for an opening day.
Yeah, it's actually, and 20,000 more on average than what they saw in any given game last year.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of excitement about this new crew of guys.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's bring in an expert now to give us some insight on what's been a pretty rough housing market. This is Jessica Lautz, and she's an economist with the National Association of Realtors. Hi, Jessica. Can you hear us okay? Great.
Yes.
Okay, that's a cool office. Where are you?
I am in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. We just spoke with another individual from George Washington University. That is a beautiful, beautiful view out your office.
It really
nice.
Is. Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here in D.C.
I was talking to, I was out of town this weekend seeing my daughter in Salt Lake City, and she had some family come over. And I was talking to this young couple, 2 little kids. They might have a 3rd or 4th. They want more room in their house. But she said the following. Now, I want to get, this is just a quick story, and then you give us your perspective on what's going on. She's like, we're in a small house. We would like to at least get a good-sized backyard so the kids can grow up like that. And she said the problem is we have a 3% mortgage, so we may never move. How long are we going to be in this situation?
Yeah, the lock-in effect is real for a lot of homeowners. They're gaining a tremendous amount of wealth. They're gaining housing equity, but they really are reticent to move with interest rates that are above 6% right now. They have to have a very compelling reason, and a big yard is a compelling reason, but for many, it comes down to a job change or a big family change that would make them have that move. And we need to build more inventory so that families like that can move into affordable inventory and be able to have that yard.
Can you give us some perspective on what we're seeing right now in comparison maybe to historically speaking? Like, is it still reasonable to be able to afford a home and achieve the American dream?
Well, I can tell you locally in Phoenix, you have to have a household income of nearly $110,000 to be able to qualify for the typical price home. Phoenix area has become, unfortunately, very unaffordable to the typical American. And what we can see there is that if you have a household income below $75,000, you're going to have a very difficult time finding a home to be able to purchase in your local area. So that comes down to school teachers or first responders having a hard time.
So then what about, what is the solution? I mean, you mentioned let's get some more houses built. A, why isn't that happening? And B, are there any other, good options?
Yeah, Arizona is one of those places that was so attractive to move to and continues to be attractive to move to. Even last year, you gained nearly 70,000 residents. And so when we look at that, it really does come down to building more housing for these individuals. And when we think about the hurdles to bring in new housing, sometimes it's density restrictions, laws, sometimes it's just the availability of land and skilled labor to really have this new home be built and communities be built for all of these new residents.
I can imagine that when people think about purchasing a new home, of course, you have you have a down payment that you need and all these other things. $110,000, how reasonable is that for, a young family to be able to come up with to afford a home in the Valley? And I guess for Phoenix specifically, right, we're one of those sprawling cities. You mentioned it's probably going to have to be an outlying area, like a new community that just was built.
Yeah, so a household income of $110,000 could be hard unless you have 2 income earners. In that instance, it might be a little bit easier. But that being said, those are 2 solid incomes to be able to afford the typical price home. And then it is coming up with a down payment, the money in reserves, making sure that you have the closing costs for the home. All of that does add up, especially as you're paying rent, perhaps student loan debt, a car loan. All of these things are very difficult to pay for. And then watching the price of the home move up. And that's what we have been seeing is on a year-over-year basis, the price just keeps moving up.
All right. Well, we are going to keep an eye on it. We are seeing builders build, but boy, you got to go so far away from downtown. It can be an hour's drive. Yeah. Very interesting perspective from you, Jessica. Hopefully we can talk to you a year from now and maybe things will be a lot better. You never know.
I think that sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right, Syleste, I'm very excited to roll out this next part of the segment. I do believe that everybody watching us, especially the OGs, as you call them,
the OGs.
Who are with us every single day.
Do you know what OG stands for, Ron?
Yeah, the old, what? The old what?
The original gangster.
Oh, the original gangster.
The OG gangster.
Anyway, so thanks for putting me on the spot. I went up to Salt Lake this weekend to see my daughter, Michelle.
You're very cool, Ron, just so you know.
Thank you very much.
Very cool.
And so Nick and Michelle, they always have like some new places for us to try. Downtown Salt Lake City, they must have 100 non-chain local breakfast joints. This one is called Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Oh, I love your family. Look at it's a great photo, Ron.
Thank you.
You all look amazing.
Yeah, thanks. But then the next day we went to brunch at this whiskey distillery. I am told, I don't drink, but I'm told their whiskey is very famous.
Wow.
I think it's called High West.
Okay.
But anyway,
they have a place in Park City.
Yes, right.
Yes, yeah.
So up in the mountains somewhere, and the bus driver picks us up and he says, "Hey, did you guys see who was having breakfast there with you?"
Yeah.
And I didn't look around. I was mesmerized by the pancakes. It was Joe Walsh of the Eagles.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I could have had a celebrity encounter. He was right next door.
And this
I didn't
is
even know.
And this is the location in Salt Lake or Park City?
No, it's outside of Park City. It's in a teeny tiny little town called Wanship.
Okay.
Which is like another 10 miles down this curvy road. And then you got to take a bus and go way up on top of the hill.
Yeah.
And, it must be either good whiskey or good breakfast because Joe Walsh himself was there having
I think
breakfast.
it's probably both. And this is mud season. So if that guy's visiting there, he must have like a house or something.
Maybe.
Or a friend with a cabin.
I think the Eagles are performing at the Sphere in Vegas. So maybe he just like drove up or flew up for the day. Anyway,
that's
close.
cool.
But here is, now we all know the Big D. You all know and love Big D. But we all know he's his own kind of, what would you say, his own corporation, his own conglomerate? I mean, he is a media empire.
All on his own.
And so what I could not believe when I finally found out what it was, where Dave headquarters. Ready, roll it. Here we go. There I am.
So funny.
This is the best photo. This is amazing.
I'm like, are you telling me that the corporate offices for Big D are in downtown Salt Lake? Apparently they are.
Wow. Hey, Dave, did you know that you have, do you have a
Does he know? His office is probably right there on the corner floor, top floor.
How many employees do you have?
Yeah, Dave, how many, fess up, man. How many employees to the Big D Corporation?
I'm a busy guy. I think there's a Big D construction in town here locally, too.
Oh, my
God. Is that right?
It's more common than I expected.
Well, anyway, they celebrate Big D everywhere. That's for sure.
I love it.
Okay, time for a break, and then rock legend Steve Vai joins us in just a couple of minutes. We're excited. All right, everybody. Fox 10 Talks continues now. We are so excited to welcome Steve Vai to the microphone. I guess we really don't have. We have microphones, but Steve's just there on his couch. Look at this, you guys. It's a rock legend joining us. Steve, I just got to tell you, we are also live on YouTube. So we're live on the local Fox TV station in Phoenix, but we're live on YouTube. Sometimes we'll get a guest and we're like, hey, shoot us some questions.
Yeah.
And it's like, totally quiet. We didn't even ask for questions, and the crowd is going wild with questions for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it in the chat there, but we even got one from Buddha Sheep. He says, "Dang, you guys got Steve Vai coming on as a guest live. That's legit."
I know. Well, I'll just say this: we have this studio. Let me show it to you here. Well, there you go. It's just us.
And that's real.
Yeah,
that is a live camera that is like 3 blocks from our studio. But anyway, the point is, come see us in person sometime.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
It would be, seriously, people were like, I had a guy a couple of minutes ago who said, William says, because I was wearing my jacket.
Yeah.
He said, you're talking to a rock legend. You can't wear a jacket. Take that thing off.
So Ron, in the middle of the break, he's like, okay, I'm taking it off.
We have so many good questions here. Let me just shoot them out here.
Got it.
For example, our producer, Abby, her dad is a super fan of yours. He has a collection of 20 guitars. He wanted me to ask you, you have played all over the world, but there is a real intimacy to the Mesa Amphitheater. Do you find the open air environment in the desert gives you a certain kind of vibe that maybe you wouldn't get inside a normal, say, Coliseum or arena?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most people know when you're in a desert and it's night, just the romantic feeling in the air, just the feeling of a place that no other place can duplicate is the desert at night. It's like the molecules in the air are still or something. And when you're playing in a place like that, when you're in an arena or you're in a club or something like that, the sound is bouncing all over the place. And if you got a good seat, it sounds good, but in an amphitheater, because it's live and it's open, there's nothing to bounce the sound around. So you get this pristine kind of a sound from the stage, and it's not encumbered by all this mess. And that mixed with that romantic magic that only a desert night can produce, it's pretty spectacular. There's nothing like it, really.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool 87 degrees for you.
Right?
I just looked up
Here
the temp.
I am in Seattle with my coats on.
Oh, my gosh. Now, are you up in Seattle for a show, or do you live up that way?
No. We just kicked off our tour. As a matter of fact, today we're rehearsing, and tomorrow's the first show of the tour.
Oh, awesome.
That is so great, because I'm from up that way. I went to school at the University of Washington. I'm sure they love you in Seattle like they do down here. Celeste.
So we have another question from Brandy the Bookworm in our chat. She says, what is the most memorable story of working with Frank Zappa or someone else that you may have worked or toured with? And thank you for contributing so much to music.
Oh, thank you. Boy, memorable with Frank. It's like every day. It was so remarkable. I mean, Frank, first of all, he was unbelievably witty, funny, and, business, like you had to really know what you were playing and know what was happening. And I remember this is the first story that came to mind, but I've got so many of them. I was young. I was 20 when I started with Frank. And he started giving me all these very pickled guitar parts, because Frank would compose and he'd write notes on a piano and they just didn't belong on the guitar, But I had this attraction to playing this crazy stuff. And there's this one song called Montana that Frank had that had this middle section melody that was just like a gauntlet for the guitar. It was just very difficult. And he had never given these kinds of lines to a guitar player before. And Frank was notorious for stopping a show if you were messing up and calling you out on stage. He would do that occasionally. And he was a little concerned that he was giving this young kid these very difficult guitar parts to play in front of people, which I had never done. And I remember the first show, and I got up there, and the part came up, and I practiced. I knew it. I was bulletproof confident in every note I played with Frank because I knew you couldn't mess around, And I nailed it, and Frank stopped the show. And stops, and he looks at me, and I'm thinking, there's always that one little moment where all these thoughts cross your mind, but it's only like a half a second. And I'm just thinking, uh-oh, I'm going to be humiliated in front of an audience. What did I do wrong? I thought I played it okay. Okay, ready, here goes. And Frank stops, and he looks at me. He stopped the band, and he said, "Not bad, sport." And then he continued.
Oh, that is so cool. All right. So we're going to keep going through some of these, all these great questions. William K., who's a big fan of yours, I could tell. He's the one who said, I got to take off my jacket.
Yeah.
You, Steve. He's like, is rock and roll dead?
Well, I don't believe so. I think it's alive and healthy. It just changes its form. Its costume changes, but rock and roll to me is more of it's an impulse, it's an attitude, it's an energy, it's a freedom, there's a freedom in rock and roll energy. And when you got a guitar on and you're smashing on it, it feels liberating. And so many people know what I mean. You just get to the sound of it and the way it clangs, and it changes its form in popular music, but I don't think rock and roll is dead. That's crazy.
By the way, he also wants to know.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I got a fun question. What does a rock legend have for breakfast? Now, I always like to ask if you're in a hurry and you got to hit a drive-through.
Right.
Okay, so we have two food questions. If you're in a hurry, you're in the car, you got to hit up a drive-through, where do you go? And then what do you have for breakfast?
Well, this morning, the Seattle airport has a lovely stand, and it has these Fig Newton bars.
Oh.
And they're not the regular Fig Newtons. They're like these beautiful, and they're healthy. They're kind of like, and I love Fig Newtons. Yeah. And that's what I had for breakfast.
Wow. How about the drive-through question? When you're just tooling around town.
I cannot remember the last time I was in a drive-through.
You're a pretty healthy guy then, yeah.
Well, people think so, but I'm healthy, yeah. I mean, I feel very healthy, but I eat whatever I want. I went through so many dietary restrictions in my life and austerities, everything you can imagine. And now it's just, I realize you have an impulse for a particular type of food when you see it. And if my body says, I want that, I just take it.
That's what it's all about with the Fig Newton.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. How many guitars do you own, and how many do you travel with?
Well, the amount I own fluctuates now and then, but because I work for Ibanez, I work with Ibanez, and I receive a lot of guitars from various luthiers and friends. At one time, I had about 456.
Wow. Where do you store those?
Yeah, I have them hanging on the wall in my studio.
Wow.
And I've got them stacked up in the basement. But I got rid of a lot of them because it's just,
Yeah. Did you sell them on like Craigslist or something? Or did you give them as gifts? What happened?
Both.
Wow. How about
there's
that?
buyers, that are interested, but I give a lot of them away.
Yeah. Okay. So we were chatting with you about the is rock and roll dead type of thing. Somebody had that question. Here's another question for you. And it has to do with that on the future generation of guitar players with AI and digital perfection everywhere. How important is it for young players to lean into their imperfections to find their own voice?
By the way, that's from Abby's
father.
Dad. Again, Brent. He's watching.
Well, for most people, I think it's an inevitable impulse to want to improve yourself. It's kind of like built into us. It's like built into our DNA to want to. I mean, everybody feels it. It's like this urge to, from where you're at, take a step forward. And we're always standing on the shoulders of those that came before us. So the new guitar players that I see, So now I'm 65, so I've seen various generations of guitar players after me. And my perspective is that the evolution of virtuosic, intense rock guitar playing is alive and healthy. It may be in the underground, but you can see that these young kids, they just have that impulse. It's like, okay, here I am. There's Yngwie Malmsteen, Eddie Van Halen, Joe Satriani. This is where I'm going to start, and I have to take it from here. And I think that's a great design.
Okay, so here's another question that popped up, which is 50 years from now, when we're all gone, except for Syleste, she'll outlive us all by, she'll be for another 80 years. What do you hope people say about you and your music and how it touched them?
Well, I don't think I'll really care at that time. It's always nice. I think everybody wants to leave something of value that others can build from or just enjoy. And I might assume that in the future there might be a few people that stumble across my catalog and the story of me. And for those people, I think they'll find, when you find music that you resonate with, it's like a treasure, So I remember when I discovered Zappa's catalog or Led Zeppelin or something, it's just like, it doesn't matter when it came out, the music is timeless. And I've worked my whole life to create a solo catalog of music that's relatively undiluted. So, if somebody finds it in the future and builds off of it or enjoys it, if I have anything to do with it at the time, I'm sure I'll be very
That's so cool.
This has been one of the coolest experiences I think we've had on our show. So we so appreciate your time, Steve. This is great. You're just like hanging with us. It's like sitting with a friend, Ron.
I know. So cool. So great. We had you lined up last week and it fell apart. I'm like, we have to get Steve back on. Friday.
Well, thanks for sticking with it.
Friday, April 10th at the Mesa Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Steve, thanks so much for your time.
Safe travels, buddy. Thank
you so much.
All right.
And thanks, everybody, for writing in.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
He was so amazing. There's Dave. What a great, he was so wonderful.
Hi. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. We're going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks at 11.
So Saturday there was a bee attack, you can call it, at ASU. And there was a swarm. This was the lacrosse game, if I'm not mistaken, on the soccer field. And fire department had to come out. One gentleman had to go to the hospital. A firefighter stung, I think, in the face. And then there were a couple of other injuries as a result. So this is the time of year we're going to start seeing the little beehives and then those really, really big beehives. So we brought a couple of experts in.
We sure did. Do you want to introduce our guest here this morning? We've got quite the guest here.
Captain Todd Keller. And then the bee guy.
Scott the bee man.
Scott the bee man. Scott, nice and close to that mic so people can hear you. If anyone at home has questions, do you want to put it on, change the camera?
Oh.
I don't know which way we want to go here.
It's not working. So
Okay.
we're just gonna go like this.
Do a four-shot.
Back and forth, back and forth. All right, we'll get that fixed here in a second.
I told you, work with us, guys. Work with us.
All right. So
anyone
let's
at
start
home
at the-
has questions, let us know.
Yeah, so let's start at the very beginning. We tend to see these happen. Todd, let's start with you. And this can really be, if someone has an allergy to bees, this could really be quite devastating. Walk me through kind of when you guys get a bee call. What are some of the steps that you guys take when you go out there?
Well, you nailed it right at the beginning, is that if you do have an allergic reaction to this, it can be fatal. We will be dispatched when there is an immediate threat to anyone. We don't exterminate the bees. We leave them to the professionals like this and how they're going to mitigate that danger. But we will respond when personnel are at a risk.
Do you guys have bee suits on your trucks with you?
Yeah, that's an absolute great question. So what we do is that we use the same, what we call PPE, or personal protective equipment, that we go into fires, where we click in, we're breathing air, we'll seal it around our legs, our arms, and we'll use that to go in and remove the individuals from the threat.
So when I see the bees coming at me, I run, which is probably the worst thing to do. I know you guys run into those burning buildings and some really crazy, dangerous situations, but I can imagine that running into a huge hive, because some of these hives are massive. We're talking probably thousands of bees. That's pretty terrifying.
Yes,
it can be.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer exactly what you said, because I think it's the opposite of what you said about running away. And I'll let Scotty here talk about that.
Absolutely. If you are getting attacked by bees, the last thing you want to do is stick around. You need to go. You try and find some place to get inside. The bees will fly around you, and they'll follow you into the building, close the door, then you can deal with those bees. If you stay outside swatting bees off, you're going to have 20 bees on you for every bee you swat off. Wow. So you're best to get inside, go into a car, go into a building, something like that.
We've had cases, and I can't remember, it was a couple of years ago. I know you guys responded. We've had deaths as a result, probably because of allergies, but also we've had reports of the bees getting into people's mouths, into their ears. I mean, when you have that many bees around you, what do you do?
Yeah, protect your airway and go as fast as you can to some enclosed building. Get into a car, get into something where you only have to deal with the bees that are on you at that moment. If you stay in the proximity of those bees that are coming on you, they smell you, they'll follow you, they're on you. And the longer you stay there, the more bees you'll get on you.
Now, do you if you start swiping at them, do they become more aggressive and start wanting to sting more because you are being more aggressive towards them?
Yeah, I think if the bees are already flying around your head, they're stinging you, they're already in a defensive mode. Swatting them is not going to change anything. But honestly, your best defense is to get away from them, get inside something where they can't get to you.
What do you guys do when you come out and you're called out to a lacrosse game where you've got a couple hundred people watching this game? It's hot outside. Everyone's probably running, screaming because they're trying to get away from it. How do you guys, contain the bees? I mean, what do you guys do?
So what we'll do is that we will arrive on scene and we will extend our hose lines. So we will get to the individual. We'll park about 150 feet away. And what we will do is that we will open up our nozzles and use what we call a fog pattern to go in there and push the bees away and grab that individual and remove them out of the danger.
Now we saw, I think it was last year, there was or maybe it was 2 years ago. All these years I've been here so long, all these years just kind of meld together.
Yeah, they do.
But it was at a baseball game, and there was a swarm I think it was at Tempe Diablo.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
But
Were you called out?
I wasn't. It was actually a Bank One ballpark.
Okay.
A swarm, and that's kind of a misconception when we talk about bee attacks and bee swarms. Those words are kind of used interchangeably. A bee swarm is just a natural propagation of the beehive. The queen leaves with a group of bees, and they almost never pose any danger at all. That's the ball you saw hanging off of the cable at Bank One ballpark. That's a swarm. They're naturally they've left their hive and they're looking for a new hive.
So you're not seeing that little hive.
You're seeing that little ball. You're not seeing any hive material.
So it's just the bees out in the air in the open.
Bees. I don't think I've ever been stung by a swarm of bees. They're very docile by nature. They don't have anything to protect but that queen. What you do have is a hive. All of these attacks that Todd's been called in on, you have a bee attack, and that's a group of bees coming out of a hive. They all have the same two things in common. There's an active hive somewhere within the vicinity, 25, 30 yards, and that hive's been disturbed. And those bees are coming out to protect the hive.
So when you guys are out, you're spraying the hose, you said that the foam that you spray the water is not going to kill the bees.
No, we do not exterminate bees, but we use a fog pattern to push the bees away so we can remove them. I'm reading some of these comments real quick, and one of the, it seems like the common denominators is that people are allergic, people are afraid to go out. So if you are stung by a bee, you need to activate the 911 system, especially if you are allergic. And then when we get out there, if you haven't removed yourself or there's other people, we will come out and help you. Now, if it's within 250 feet of a school, we will notify the school. We will notify like a church, a daycare center, but we will arrive on the scene and mitigate that danger.
Yeah, we have William asking, didn't a man die on the roof last year because of a bee attack? And that's correct. That's one of the other stories that we had. So a couple questions for you then, Scott. How do you remove the bees? Who's calling you in?
Yeah, I do only live removal. I'm a beekeeper, a killer. We'll go in and remove the bees alive. And that's really the best way. If the disruption that we spoke of just a moment ago, oftentimes is somebody trying to exterminate the bees. They can kill the hive that's there. What they can't kill is the tens of thousands of bees that are out in the neighborhood foraging. They're going to come back and find that their hive is decimated. Those are the bees that are going to cause the problem. That's the new swarm. That's who's going to attack people. They've got nothing to lose. So we go in and actually do live removal. There's several beekeepers that do this. Remove the bees using a vacuum, suck them into a bee vacuum, cut the comb out, remove the queen, capture the queen, and just get all of that out of there. When we leave, there's really no danger of foraging bees returning. Very few. I might be there for 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
How do you know what the queen looks like?
Oh, she's very obvious. The worker bees will point you in the direction of the queen.
Really?
All the time. You can almost always find her.
Is she bigger sometimes too?
She's a little bit larger.
Yeah, I've gone out on a couple stories and they showed me that you can definitely see that she's a little bit larger in size than the other worker bees.
We can put her in a queen clip. The other bees can come in and out of that clip, but she can't fit out, so she'll stay inside.
Fascinating.
So where do you relocate then? After you, say, collect from a location, where do you then take the bees?
Yeah, so different answers to that question. Some of the bees are kept locally. I'll keep some of the bees. Some of the bees will go to other beekeepers. Some of the bees are just too mean to keep anywhere, so we'll relocate them to an area in a bee box, in a managed area. So it just depends.
So how do you know, how do you know the temperaments of the bees?
Oh, you know.
But how? Like, you're boggling my mind.
That's why he's the bee guy.
Yeah.
If you open, if you're opening a managed box of bees, they might look up at you and say, "Hey, what's going on? This is our place." You open up a box that's full of Africanized bees, and they immediately flood your veil. You can't see anything.
Really? Are they all Africanized? I mean, we've heard
that question down, Africanized
we've
bees.
heard so many reports of that.
Yeah, I think all feral bees in Arizona have been deemed Africanized for about 20 years, but they're not always angry. They're not always defensive. Again, it's that disruption. If you allow the hive to get large, you've got a lot of bees that can come out after.
Darren Lloyd 244 is asking, do bumblebees swarm and attack?
Bumblebees do not swarm or attack.
Okay.
And then what about I know you obviously specialize in bees, but let's talk about hornets too, because they can be a little bit more aggressive than bees, if I'm not mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've been stung by both, and the difference being a bee will sting you one time and it loses its stinger and it dies. So it might be more selective in its distribution of the sting, whereas a hornet paper wasp, they can sting you multiple times and not even think about it. A little bit like a scorpion.
Last year we were out on a little afternoon walk in the neighborhood, and I'm walking into a tree that's like right there and didn't even notice, but thankfully there's a huge hive hanging there. Is that what you find a lot of times with these attacks, like at a game or something, the ball hits the hive, or kids are running around, or someone just accidentally walks into it?
No. Generally, people know that there's a hive there. They're going to give you advance warning. You're not going to bump into it. You might have bumped into a swarm because, again, they're so docile. They don't feel the need to protect.
Oh, I didn't bump into it.
Okay.
I caught it, but it was like that hard shell. That to me looked like.
That's maybe some kind of hornet or paper wasp or something like that.
Okay.
The honeybees will create the wax comb and fill that with honey, fill it with pollen. It's pretty obvious.
Someone's asking any Japanese hornets in AZ.
Is that the murder hornet?
I don't know.
But I don't want to know.
I've never met one.
Oh, good. Okay.
Todd, let's kind of talk about what you guys carry, because obviously if someone is allergic to bees, they can go into anaphylactic shock very quickly. So what do you guys have on your trucks, and when you call out EMS, what do they have in order to kind of, I guess, first responders, what are they doing?
So we have exactly what people are talking about in the chat, is that we have epinephrine, and that's how we will treat allergic reactions. Some people have reactions to all different kinds of things. We have protocols for this. We have drug profiles, and we will get an IV established. We will administer epinephrine and transport them to the hospital, especially if we have some kind of information that they are allergic and it could be fatal. Yes, it's important that we get there.
Okay. We've got about another minute left, but I wanted to ask you, have you seen when people obviously get stung multiple times, maybe they don't have an allergic reaction, but their body can sometimes kind of go into like shock?
The venom in there.
Good. So I'm glad you asked that question. So one of the main things is that when we see someone is allergic to something, whether it's like food, a nuts, bees, is that we immediately go, are you having trouble swallowing? Because that means their throat is swelling up. Obviously, that's a very profound issue.
Sure. All right, we've got about 30 seconds left. Mr. B-Man, how do folks find you if they find themselves in a predicament?
Scott the B-Man, online.
Nice and easy. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
And any other troubles, call 911.
And you're at 911?
Todd will come.
That's our number.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it really is. It's scary.
This is kind of the season where we're starting to see those bees out and about. And then obviously we just had this swarm over at ASU, so we appreciate it.
More to
Very
come,
timely.
I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, 2.5-minute break. We'll be right back.
I'll look
All right, welcome back. If you're watching the news at noon yesterday, we had an LOL moment because we had Richard out there downtown covering the Final Four. And there was the blimp above him during the show. And I was like, do you see the blimp? Do you see the blimp?
He didn't see the, he legit didn't see the blimp.
But look, we can see the blimp. And it's the Charles Barkley blimp.
Yeah.
From, I think it's Capital One.
Yeah.
Like one of the credit cards.
It's a nice little commercial there. Richard messaged me and he said, I legit did not see the blimp. He's like, I could not find the blimp.
and I was like, it's behind you. Turn around.
Is it Abbott and Costello, like who's on first?
Yes.
That they do this whole skit where it's like he's on 1st, who's he? And I don't know how it goes, but it just was very comedic.
So if you are hanging around downtown Phoenix and you look up, you might see the blimp. It just went behind the building, but we've been having kind of fun.
Looks like rain too.
Yeah, we're actually starting to get some rain.
Do we see?
You see a little bit of rain.
A little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Guess who's here all? Krystal.
Hi, guys.
Krystal's
Hello.
here. We're talking
Krystal.
about the rain.
Yeah, and it's a little ahead of schedule. We were expecting a few showers start to pop up into this evening, but this is like a early showing for us of a couple of showers. Nobody's complaining about it, I'll say that.
Free early showing.
Yeah, you know what? We had it felt humid this morning, right?
Did.
Like we had moisture in the atmosphere, we had moisture up in the clouds, and then is the mic on?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Ty, we made a
Ty's
face
just
that was
making
like,
hand signals. We're trying to tell Dave that he's really loud over there and we can hear him.
Do we have our weather graphics?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, great. All right, there's the view. 51 and Northern Ave. So this is one area.
Sprinkles, right?
Yeah, so it's not super heavy, obviously. Otherwise, the road would look like it was splashing. But there is at least some water coming from the sky, guys. We will qualify this as some rain that is moving through. It is pretty patchy, the moisture that's rolling by, but there are some showers out there. Wind gusts are also quickly picking up as we expected. Those gusts are at like 36 miles per hour now in Flagstaff, 41 miles per hour in Kingman. And then we've got gusts over 30 as well in Window Rock, the Grand Canyon. So many locations already seeing the winds increase. And we do have a wind advisory for northern Arizona it started 17 minutes ago. It lasts until 8 o'clock tonight, that wind advisory.
Low Philosophy says she hears thunder.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So these are these isolated little showers that are popping up. A couple of them have a few thunderstorms. Now, they're not severe by any stretch, but a little bit of lightning or some rumbles of thunder, certainly possible.
And weather watcher Mama Brennan.
Oh,
hi, Mama Brennan.
Also chiming in, saying that
she got a few showers.
Got some showers up
Love
in north
it.
central
This is
Phoenix.
great. Honestly, it's setting up farther south than it looked like it was going to. So we were expecting there to be some scattered storms starting to pick up about now, but a little farther north, like Yavapai and Coconino, and instead it's setting up right over Maricopa County, which is interesting, actually, that it's setting up so far south. But we will take those showers.
Yeah,
so
we will.
There's the closer look at the valley, and you can see where the wet weather's passing on through. It's kind of moving in a little bit of a south to north direction as it shifts from west to east. So there's a spot just outside of the 303 near like the White Tank area. We've got a cell that is in between the 17 and the 51 in the Phoenix area, like kind of moving towards Sunny Slope. And then we've got a couple little showers that are out near Apache Junction as well. The closer shot there of the showers between the 17 and 51. Look how quick it's moving. I just set that shot. Like, I don't know, 3 minutes ago, and already I need to move it again. So
I'm kind of jealous that I'm not outside enjoying this, and
a
that
little
we're
bit
in
of
here with no
rain.
windows watching.
It's not super heavy, guys, but that is some wet weather that's passing by.
Krystal, some more updates from
Oh,
Mama Brennan.
Mama Brennan, what do we got?
Tell Krystal she is so good. My windshield wipers are on.
Oh, she's the
be
best.
safe, Mama Brennan.
I love the support your family
Be
gives me.
safe. Jared of Sonora says, gorgeous, saw some lightning a little bit ago.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I saw out in the Apache Junction area
Yeah,
where
look at that. Just kinda
already
north,
the storm
east.
cell has moved along, but this one did have some lightning with it when it was moving through as it's been hitting the Superstition and kind of running up towards Tortilla Flat. So a little bit of rain there. And then there's also a couple of cells that have fired off over parts of eastern Arizona. So outside of Show Low, Snowflake, Heber, all looking at some showers and a few spot storms. So any of these cells could fire off a little bit of lightning. So you're going to hear a rumble of thunder here or there as this develops. But this is just the start. And I want to say, I'm going to show our future cast just to show you the general direction the rest of the day is going. The models are not doing a good job because, as I mentioned, everything's starting a little earlier than expected. And it's a little farther south oriented than expected. So with that in mind, I'm going to interpret this as we go in terms of what I actually think is going to happen.
Walk us through that. Do you mean that you're going to do you think because it started a little earlier that it could be more intense, or what can you?
Will it keep going into the afternoon?
We'll still see activity into this evening, but I think that for the valley, the potential might be a little earlier. We were thinking it was going to be overnight into tomorrow morning, but since it's already starting, depending on how much of the energy we kind of gobble up, there might not be as much to work with by, say, like tomorrow morning. But here's the look at the model. So the model does show this kind of scattered activity getting a little stronger as we get into the afternoon. This is at 3 p.m. that we've got some of that scattered storm
that's
activity.
my walk time.
Well, and notice right now it's got pretty much all of it north of us and east of us. But again, I think that this afternoon potentially some of these could be over the valley now. So even though the model's not showing it, I would say there's at least a chance for there to be a few scattered activity, storm cells rather, that roll through. And then this is tonight, and the model, at this point, I think the model probably still has a fair idea because this is when a front's going to start to approach. So as the cold front moves in, the storms will kind of line up against it, and you can see right where it moves through. Now, this model is going, in my opinion, too widespread and heavy. It'll probably be more scattered. This makes it look like it's going to be a deluge. That's not necessarily going to be the case, but a few showers overnight and maybe early tomorrow morning, but this thing will probably scoot out of here pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then actually, as it moves out by like mid-late morning tomorrow, already pretty much the whole state will have sunshine again. So tomorrow does not end up necessarily being like a cloudy day, even though early on to start, there may be some moisture out there. But that'll be moving eastward pretty quickly, guys. The winds will be sticking with us. It's not just going to be windy today. It'll be breezy to windy tomorrow and even Thursday as well, thanks to the pattern that we have shifted into. But pretty consistently, we are going to be seeing the temperatures at least more comfortable. I'm just going to get to the 10 days so people can see what I'm talking about. Today, the forecast, again, because the rain started a little earlier, I'm tempted to maybe take it even lower, maybe like a 90. Ooh. But as we get into tomorrow, it's only 84, and then it's upper 80s Thursday and Friday. This weekend, we'll get back to the low 90s. But a little stretch of slightly more mild temperatures, especially compared to the 105s we had only like a week and some change ago. So this has been a very welcome shift in the weather pattern with some of those showers and storms rolling through.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Krystal. Hold on. We got to say goodbye to you. Oh, and look, the blimp's back.
Where is it?
Right
above my head.
Wow, you did so good at like pointing it out immediately.
Yeah, I used to do
Ty
weather.
has an eye for a blimp.
I used to do weather, Krystal. So I'm pretty good at pointing on a green screen.
Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't forget. You feel something for me sometimes.
Thank
All right,
you.
Krystal,
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Can we get another shot of that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
There it
let's do
is.
it.
Right
That's
over
cool.
the hotel, the Sheraton downtown. How cool is that?
Very neat, isn't it?
I love it.
Okay, one more guest for you guys before we say goodbye for the afternoon. Tillman Foundation CEO Katherine Steele is joining us. Believe it or not, the 22nd annual Pat's Run is coming up. It's hard to believe that the run itself has been taking place 22 years.
Katherine, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
All right. So for folks that maybe are living under a rock, that don't know anything about the Pat Tillman Run and the foundation, give us just a little bit of background.
Yeah, so this is the 22nd year of the race, which is pretty incredible to think that it's been so long since the first one. First time they had 5,000 participants. We're actually nearing sellout this year and are expecting to have near 30,000 people join us in Tempe.
Wow. And it's a 4.2 run, obviously named after Pat Tillman, ASU football player, Cardinals football player, killed in the line of duty. Tell us a little bit about how this is such an amazing legacy for such a wonderful person.
Here at the foundation, we talk about the fact that we're here 22 years later on April 11th for Pat's Run because Pat lived. And I think what has happened over the last 22 years is a testament to the character and the human that he was, and this ripple effect of humans that want to build community and make an impact. And Pat's Run is just an opportunity to get everybody together to kind of celebrate the impact that Pat has had on the Valley, that he has had on our Tillman Scholar community, which are nearly 1,000 active duty veterans and military spouses that we support through scholarships and leadership development. And again, just bringing Tempe together for something greater than themselves. And it's just an incredible moment.
Yeah, ever since I moved here, everybody was always talking about you've got to go to the Pat's Run, and it's such a great community event, and it's really become, I guess, an institution here in the Valley.
It really has. I will say you don't have to run it. So a lot of people are like, I'm not a runner. You can walk it, you can jog it, you can skip it, you can run if you want. It really is an opportunity just to be with, like I say, 30,000 of your best friends. And so it's a great community event. After the run or walk, however you want to do it, we have the Tillman tailgate. And so we're going to have, as is, the band is there, food trucks are there, vendors, the community is showing up and showing out in really great ways. So people will stay afterwards and hang out and have a good time as well.
This is a quote on the website from J.J. Watt, and it says, Pat Tillman's legacy is a reminder that one person can make a difference. The big difference is that you give away scholarships, about 1,000, if I'm not mistaken, every single year.
So we have nearly 1,000 Tillman scholars. Each year we pick a new class of veterans, active duty, and military spouses to invest in. Every year we give out about $1.5 million in just scholarship funding. And then there's leadership development and mentorship and career architecture. To date, the foundation has invested nearly $40 million in these students and continuing to grow. And that Pat's Run helps fuel that. So it's a really great opportunity to say, hey, I want to invest in something good and in good leaders. And so coming to the run helps facilitate that.
You also get a really cool medal. Is that true? I think every year you guys put out a really neat medal.
Great medal and great shirts, which if you're ever anywhere around Phoenix or Tempe, you see them all over the place, which is great. This year, we're really excited as well. Our race starter is actor and Marine veteran Rob Riggle, who's going to be joining us. And he's running 4.2 miles along with us. So we're excited to have him.
I love that. Give us, Anita was just looking up Rob Riggle because that's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, he's right there on the website with a really cool quote. People should check that out.
If folks want to join in on all the fun, how can they do that? And are there kind of deadlines set up of when they need to register?
patsrun.org is the quickest way to go ahead and get registered for the race in person in Tempe. If you can't come and you're out of town, you actually can participate virtually across the country or at the honor runs that we put on in conjunction with the ASU Alumni Association. So all those options are on there. You have until a couple days before the race to get in there. We are nearing sellout. So I advise everybody to, if you're even a little bit interested, go ahead, sign up, bring your friends. You can get great swag, great t-shirts, great medals, and join the fun and the family.
Yeah,
I have a feeling next year you're going to have to make it bigger. You're going to have to either find another location, which will be tough, but maybe even the stadium.
Oh, we've got plans for that. Stay tuned. It's going to be pretty fantastic.
You might have to do that. Absolutely.
That's a great tease, isn't it?
Isn't it fun?
It is such a cool
We should do it 4.2 miles. We can run that.
Yeah. Well, you and I used to work weekends, so we never were able to go. But we're off weekends now, Catherine.
Okay.
So we're going to lace up
Join
our
me.
shoes and
It'll be
come
great.
go. All right.
Okay.
We're going to sign up.
Yeah,
Catherine.
a lot of comments from people saying this is fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for spreading the news. Hope to see everybody with us on April 11th.
All right, Catherine, we appreciate it. Thank you. We'll put all this information on our website as well. That's going to do it for Anita. Oh, look at that. The blimp is just hovering right above my head. Look. Doing, doing, doing.
Almost looks like a little bee.
Wow. The music just came to an end very suddenly there, Des. And so,
yeah, we just wanted to make sure people were still awake.
Yes, correct. I mean, we have plenty of music beds here, as they're called, but we also have a lot of important banter, I think might be a good way to put it.
Yeah, chit-chat.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, there's New England, but we are really kind of focused today on what is going on with, stand by, are you ready for it? Hold on, I've got the live picks, don't anybody worry here, right here, on Artemis. This is going to be... I'm really getting excited about this. I heard a guy who's a kind of a space expert. He has a podcast, and he's like, I keep talking to people who have no idea that this is happening tomorrow. Isn't that amazing?
Well, they're not watching Fox 10 then.
No, they're not.
We've told folks,
correct.
This is going down.
I mean, we are able to cover it all. We can cover the Diamondbacks winning last night. Basically a sellout. I don't know, maybe there were a few empty seats, but 48,000 people were out there rooting them on.
And folks were worried with that opening start in LA. Like, come on. I mean, up against the defending champs, like, it's going to be a tough series.
I mean, I don't know if the Tigers are really good or not, but hey, they jumped out to, I think it was a 7-zip lead and held on for a 9-6 win. But let's just focus on space here because tomorrow is the day. And there's going to be so much excitement around it. I'm sure we can. I'll be sure to work with Big D. We'll get some interviews lined up for tomorrow. But here are a few things that you should know about what is about to happen. The Artemis mission is the first crewed mission. That's crewed like, you know, a crew on board, not crude.
Like people.
A peopled mission, yes, since 1972. Now, keep in mind, in 72, they actually landed on the moon, but there has not been a human being on the moon since December the 7th, 1972. Eugene Cernan was the last human being to set foot on the moon. That was Apollo 17. And now here we are, more than 50 years later, and we're going to fly back to the moon. This Artemis 2 is not going to land on the moon, but it's laying all the groundwork necessary for that to happen. I think it's just really cool.
Yeah. So that's what's different about this mission is that Artemis 2 won't land on the moon. Instead, it'll be a flyby. So essentially, they are going to test the dock system and procedures in order to make a landing possible for Artemis 4, which is a scheduled launch, hopefully, in 2028.
Yeah. So
getting folks back on the moon.
Even that, if you really start to think about it, I mean, 2 years ago, 2024 was the election. That doesn't seem like it was really that long ago. So 2 years from now, it'll supposedly, the Artemis 3, by the way, like Des was saying, test the docking procedures. And then 4 will be the lunar landing. And by the way, really cool, the 4 people that are involved in this, historically diverse. Christina Koch or Cook, are you thinking? What are we thinking?
Yeah, we'll go Cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
First woman to go on a mission to the moon. Victor Glover, the first black astronaut on a lunar mission.
Amazing.
Reed Wiseman, who, by the way, flew to the ISS 12, almost 13 years ago, spent 165 days in space. If you can do that, you can spend a few days going up to the moon and back, right?
Yeah, I think so, right? Well, we should ask him.
And then Jeremy Hansen, who's a fighter pilot. That would be cool, right? In the Canadian Armed Forces, he's the first Canadian to travel to the moon. And, you know, we have a few other kind of facts and figures, but to me, Des, the most interesting thing is basically NASA, Bill Nelson, and other leaders at NASA are saying what is really different about this program is once we go to the moon this time, we're never leaving. We're going, and we're going to stay. The whole idea is to build the Lunar Gateway Space Station, and I guess you can guess by the name of the space station they're going to build up there, the Lunar Gateway. It's like when you change planes in Atlanta. It's going to be a gateway for someday the missions to Mars.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is unbelievable.
Would you take the trip if,
you know what? If they can figure out a way to have regular TV broadcasts and I don't have to miss football for Mars is going to be like 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I want to miss two seasons of football. Otherwise, I'd be right there.
I know. You would be kind of really lost, right? A lot of player turnaround
the thing
in
about
2
let's
years.
be honest. I mean, you would miss your kids. I'd miss my grandkids. I mean, it would. There are all kinds of life choices in the middle of it all. But anyway, it's happening, and we are going to be all over it over the next couple of days.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. This is Fox 10 Talks. Ron and Des hanging out with you till noon. A lot of excitement for the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you believe that we're seeing the same four from last year?
I don't really like that. At least this time around in the men's Final Four, it's not all like number one seeds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 3 seed in there. And so, yeah, I mean, I like to see the upsets, to be honest with you.
That game between UConn and Duke the other night was pretty amazing. I just like the crowd reaction.
And that guy, he was like 5 feet behind the arc, behind the 3-point line.
Freshman too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Freshman.
Yeah. And the cool thing is,
amazing.
Coach said after the game, he said, when we recruited him to come join us at UConn, he said, "You're from Indiana. We're bringing you here to get us back to Indiana and the Final Four. Make it happen."
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
But as far as the women go, if you're headed downtown, get ready for this.
Good morning, and I learned this morning that this is the first time ever that a massive bracket has been displayed outside of the women's Final Four. Typically, the men's Final Four will do something like this, but for the first time ever, they did one for the ladies. So very exciting that it's happening right here in downtown Phoenix, just across the street from the Mortgage Matchup Center, where the games will be played. The big show here. So you guys can take a look here. This is the massive bracket. This was posted on the building just outside of the Mortgage Matchup Arena. This was March 16th. And so as the games have progressed, they've come out here and they have filled in the names. And today, officially, this bracket was completed with all of the Final Four contestants out here. So we have UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, and Texas. Everything kicking off really on Thursday. That is when some of the major events happen. The schedule also on Friday, the defending champs UConn will take on South Carolina, who won the national title the year before. That game begins at 4 p.m. Then at 6:30, UCLA will face Texas. The outcome of these games will determine who plays in the final, which is set for Sunday at 12:30 p.m. We have heard that there are a few tickets still available for anybody who wants to come down here to check out all the action.
Okay.
There are tickets still available on the secondary market, so it's a very popular event. So you can still get tickets to the games, but even if you don't, you can come to Super Saturday Practice, which is on Saturday. Those final 2 teams, it's an open practice. That's free. Just register for a ticket. And then at Forward All Festival out on 3rd Street, you can actually watch the games. So even if you don't have a ticket, there'll be plenty of opportunities to participate in the action.
Yeah, and at last check, the lowest listing for a ticket we could find was $250. But as Kelly just mentioned right there, there is so many free events happening here around downtown Phoenix to get in on the action. But one more look out here at the final completed board here. It just looks really cool. Such an awesome place to come out here, snap a picture, get involved, make some history, of course, because we're the first ones for the ladies bringing out this massive bracket to show their accomplishments. But yeah, I was telling Kelly this morning, this bracket might upset some people, but also some people will be very happy. So I know bracket busters happen, and it's a little sad to look at, but very exciting for these 4 teams. We'll send it back to you guys.
There you go. Yeah, no bracket busters this time around.
How's your bracket looking? Did you agree?
I didn't do one for the women.
No.
But for the men, I'm climbing. I was like dead last at the beginning because you got to get the correct upsets. There are upsets on day 1 and day 2, and I missed on all of those. But I do have Arizona winning it all.
Okay.
And I think it could happen. But man, Arizona, Michigan coming up on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be watching that game.
Oh, yeah. By the way.
Well, that was cool to know from Danielle that you can attend practice. So that's a good way to get in on the action if you can't afford a ticket. Does come with a hefty price.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Paul Valina is saying, hello, Des and Rock and Ron. But then Darren jumps in and says, let's call him Rocket Ron instead of Rockin' Ron.
Oh, that's
Rockin'
a good name.
Ron was my DJ name.
We'll use that as you cover Artemis.
Rocket Ron.
Coverage.
Okay, for the next week. Anyway, okay, so a lot of excitement about that. What was this about a Charles Barkley blimp? I can't wait to see this video.
I don't know, but we had Richard Signs on the stream yesterday, if you guys were tuning in yesterday. So you saw us chatting with Richard here on the stream, Danielle and I. Yeah. And then he transitioned over to Fox 10 and did a live shot on our noon newscast with Anita and Ty.
All right.
And apparently the blimp flew like right over Richard's head or, right near him in his vicinity. Okay. And I guess Ty was like telling him, turn around, look at it. Oh, it's behind the building now. I guess he could not find it. Every time like Ty would give a direction, it would be gone.
Yeah.
So that was a little like a little funny moment with the blimp
for sure.
and the Fox 10 interaction.
I mean, don't let this go to Charles' head.
It's an ad. It's pretty smart on the part of Capital One.
Yeah, Charles gets his own blimp, for goodness sakes. Hey, this other trend I just thought maybe it'd be worth talking about, which is the new trend is to get your protein with your coffee. Mix in a little bit of yogurt. People just add a little dollop on top, and then maybe they can add a different flavor to their coffee. So the guy behind it says he creates workout content on his social media platforms. And, I guess some people are following it.
I think we should get this guy on the stream because this sounds gross. We need to talk to him.
Right?
I'm just going to eat my yogurt in a bowl separately and drink my coffee, I think.
Okay.
But hey, you never know.
You never do. All right. Yeah. We'll put the request out. If people don't want to be on FTT, it's their loss because we love these kind of interviews. Yeah. Let's get that guy for sure. He's big on TikTok. Okay. Time for the mystery cam. It's amazing to me, Des, that we continually find these new cameras. I don't recall ever seeing this one before, but here it is. It's your chance to give us your guess. All right, everybody. Busy roads, a lot of cars seemingly going one way. And almost nobody. Oh, here they come. All right. So, it's a water tower. It's flattish. It looks like I don't see a lot of shadows. So I think it's, probably middle of the country. It's not like, think about this. It's 2:45 if you're in New York or if you're on the East Coast. I don't think it's all the way on the East Coast. I'm going to go Midwest, Des.
Okay.
This is right off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at some of our guesses here.
Yeah, what do you think? Darren is guessing Oklahoma.
I like the sound of that. I do.
Jared of Sonora.
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Could be.
Although Darren is saying back to Jared, you never know. Big D might trick us.
Yeah. Yes, it could be a trick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Connecticut. A little philosophy thinks it could be.
By the way, Jared was saying a minute ago, we love interacting with you guys. Jared was saying he's already starting to collect America 250 memorabilia because we're only turning 250 once as a country. Maybe someday, be a real collector's item.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Like it too.
Right. You really have to be forward thinking with that, right?
Yep.
And
Right.
Start collecting now. Another guess, Oklahoma from B. Miguel.
Oh, gosh.
And Iowa from Frankie D.
Okay.
All
What do
right.
you want to go with?
I'll go, there's a couple Oklahomas in the chat. I'll
Okay.
go Oklahoma with B. Miguel and Darren.
Okay.
What are you guessing?
I guess I'll go nearby, and I'll be in Texas.
Okay.
Let's see
All
what
right.
Des comes up
So
with
let's
here
see.
on the desk cam.
Oh.
No. Really? Gaithersburg?
Gaithersburg?
Okay, here we go.
I've never heard of that.
Maryland.
In Maryland.
Really?
Oh.
Okay. Well,
Gaithersburg.
that one threw us
Interesting.
for a loop because
Never
it
heard of
looks
that.
way more flat
Yeah.
than you would think. I have one of my great aunts who lives in Maryland outside of Washington, D.C. It seems super hilly. But anyway, we found the flat spot, and there you go.
And they have a water tower.
Yeah, they sure do. Hey, we're really looking forward to this next segment because let's face it, when gas is as sky high as it is, I was really, I didn't want to look, Des. We have a gas station right as you get near the studio here at I-10 and 7th Avenue. It's a Circle K. And I peeked at it today because I was afraid, Monday into Tuesday, they changed the prices a lot. Still $4.99.9. But I'm sure there are a few places in town that have gone to over $5.
Oh, I'm sure. It's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah,
Right?
it
It's
is.
been painful. It's getting worse,
Therefore,
unfortunately.
what do you do in a situation like that? You call Scott Johnson. You say, hey, Scott, help us get through all of this. He's with Avondale Toyota. Oh, I love this. You're right there in the shop. That's got to be the cleanest shop in Arizona. Look at that thing.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Well, this is our brand new expansion. We're adding 32 more bays to our dealership.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's for Toyotas who hardly have any. They're well known to, run forever and not have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, take it away. What are some tips that we can put into practice that would actually help a little bit? Because every mile counts when it comes to these gas prices.
Exactly. The gas prices are affecting all of us, even us technicians. The big thing is easy on the accelerator pedal. If you don't need to race from stoplight to stoplight, just take it easy. Get the best fuel mileage out of your car.
Does that really? I'm going to jump in on a lot of these points here, so we have a little bit of time. Does it really make a difference, the whole stopping, starting, especially, you're driving to the city. Maybe if you don't drive on freeways, maybe you've got a dozen or 20 stoplights you've got to go through. I'm sure you've looked at maybe some of the studies. Are we talking about a 1% difference, a 2% difference, maybe a little bit more if you can smooth out your drive without the jackrabbit?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a percentage for you, but just like they said, object in motion stays in motion. So it's harder to get your car moving than to keep it moving. So if you keep a steady gas pedal and your car's flowing, if you're able to hit stoplight to stoplight and just go through them all greens, you're going to get the best fuel economy.
So kind of timing the light a little bit, right? And maybe reading, like as they say, read the room, read the traffic, and maybe try to gauge when those lights will change so we're not slamming on the brakes.
Correct. Sometimes you get lucky. Some people have to drive down Grand Avenue, a lot of stoplights. And if you're lucky, you can zip up that thing, or sometimes you you can't at all.
Yeah, well, we do have to rely on these cities to make sure they're getting it right. But it is nice if they're figuring it out, and they all have their computerized traffic systems, and the speed limit is 45, and you do 45, and the lights keep turning for you. That's a real plus. But Scott, I got to ask, I remember the original oil embargo back in the 70s. You guys can't even relate, but in the 70s, we had horrible problems with gas, and so one of the things they did was to institute a nationwide 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And you drive on some of these lonely, can you imagine, and that's the limit. Can you imagine driving the 10 from here to LA across the desert at 54 miles an hour? I'm sure it seemed ridiculous to people, but apparently there was some science behind, if you slow down, that's another way you can save some gas mileage.
Correct. When you have the combustion in the engine, you get an optimal RPM, because you don't want to go too fast and then you're losing some of the power to push the pistons and the crank and make the car move forward. So ideally, a steady speed in general is just best for the vehicle. As you get to higher RPMs or higher speeds, you're going faster, you're going to get there quicker, but you are using a little bit more fuel to do that.
Okay, so that is true then. The faster you're going, you use a little bit more fuel. All right, what's another tip? Let's say we can't avoid the stop and go. Some folks are a little lead-footed, heavy on the foot. What is another tip?
Another tip is just the type of fuel you are using. I know some gas stations cost more than others, but in some cases it's worth it, because you get a big brand gas station, such as like a Chevron or Shell, they have additives in their fuel to make them a top tier gasoline. And in some cases, those additives actually help your vehicle. They help keep the piston rings from sticking. And another thing with the gas stations, you want a busy gas station. If it's a gas station that doesn't have a lot of usage, the fuel is probably sitting there for a little bit. The busier the gas station, the fresher the fuel, and that does make a difference.
Now, we're going to have temps in the 80s. I understand it's raining outside today. We're getting a little bit of rain, maybe these nice cooler temps for at least a few days. But before we get back to 100, rolling down the window, turning off the AC, does that make a difference?
I would say it does a little bit, because the air conditionings do put a load on the vehicle. It's just something else the engine has to turn. But I'm willing to spend the extra to have cold AC.
Right. So what do you recommend folks get? Kind of like that mid-grade gasoline gas prices are already so expensive, so, to shell out even more. But is that what you are recommending?
I would stick with what the manufacturer recommendations. If they recommend the 89, use the 89. If you jump up in octane, personal experience, it does help some, but you're also paying for it. I can't say jumping up at octanes can give you an extra 5 miles per gallon, but it might give you 1 or 2 miles per gallon.
Well, that's Scott Johnson, everybody, with Avondale Toyota and that beautiful new maintenance facility. Hey, Scott, thanks for hanging out with us today on Fox 10 Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
Always. Thank you.
Hey, you look like you had a fun time today out on your live shot.
Yeah, Pedal House was great, right in downtown Phoenix. They have a few locations throughout the valley, Mesa, Chandler, downtown, and Tempe, and they are ready for the Final Four crowd. Good morning, you guys. Probably the only time Pedal House is actually quiet and every seat at the bar is open. Caitlin, you are here pouring one of your most popular beers. What is this?
This is our Day Drinker Light Lager. It's about 3% ABV. Super easy, very crushable to drink, and honestly just a good any time of day beer, I would say.
Okay, it looks light. We're going to take this to the table, you guys, because on this beautiful rooftop here, there's plenty of places to sit. We've picked a high top over here near some of the fun games, and we're going to add this to the table here. So, Caitlin, this one is pretty popular. Are you running any specials on this, the light day drinker here?
Yeah, so happy hour, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Day drinkers are $4, and then 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday for brunch, also $4.
Okay. And then let's talk the food, right? Because let's admit, people are getting a beer, we're getting a bite to eat. Walk us through some of the options here that folks really love, starting with the dip.
Yeah, the spinach dip is brand new to our menu. It comes with fried pita. It's spinach, artichokes, cream cheese. It's topped with Parmesan cheese as well.
honestly a very generous portion. You can also sub for chips if you'd like. I kind of like to do it like that, but the pita is fantastic, and you can always get more pita if you run out.
Okay, good to know. Chicken wings, yes, right? Watching any sports game, I feel like it's a must.
They're fantastic. Also, all day Sunday, half off on those wings. Comes with ranch or blue cheese, and we have great sauce options. The buffalo, honey hot, whiskey barbecue, and Cajun dry rub are all fantastic.
What do we choose this morning? Looks like a buffalo.
Buffalo all day for me.
All right, the pretzel.
Pretzel comes with our house-made beer cheese. We use our beer blanche to make the beer cheese. We also have maple butter and a little bit of a spicy house mustard with it.
Okay, that looks good. And then the swag too, if you want to, grab some of that gear for game day. And then we've got the staples, right? Other options here. Let's start with the nachos.
Yeah, also going to be our house-made chili with the nachos. Our queso is also made in-house. Olives, chives, cilantro, diced tomatoes. Can't forget adding steak or guacamole to those too. That's what makes them so addicting.
Okay, that makes it better. Add a little bit of protein, right? Or you can just order this big guy.
Definitely. Our classic cheeseburger comes with our house dressing, lettuce, onion, tomato, pickle. Seasoned fries are always a win. I like to upgrade to the truffle fries. Have you had those before?
Ooh, no.
They're so good. Yeah, definitely get the truffle fries.
Okay, I'm a sucker for seasoned fries, and I did peek them on the menu. You do have those too?
Fries, yeah, they're fantastic.
Those look so good. Yeah. I love this, right? Each pedal house is different. Look at the view that you guys are getting here from the rooftop. So downstairs we open during the week at 3, Caitlin. When can folks come up here to the rooftop?
Yeah, so on Monday through Thursday, we open up here at 5 o'clock. Friday, 4 p.m., just for the people getting out of work a little early. And then Saturday and Sunday, right at noon for those day drinkers.